Hello everybody! Welcome back to Nukeshot Media and round 7 and the season finale of the Capital X NES IndyCar series. We are here at Watkins Glen International on the short course, typically used by the NASCAR series in their various forms. I'm of course Zokyo, your commentator here today, as per usual. A little bit of a slightly different setup. We've been delayed a smidge, mainly because we're trying to figure out who's able to turn up and who's not and various things. We do have a backup plan in place in the event that we don't have the 5 cars minimum. But we'll have to see how all that develops. As we see Ray hitting the wall, rather unfortunately. Okay, we're hearing that qualifying is going to take place soon. So I'm on Discord just typing away. Just seeing what the actual qualifying procedure is going to be for this particular setup. Oh, okay, we're going to do the normal 10-minute session, I think. I was wondering whether that might be skipped due to the circumstances. No fast 6. Okay, so just the normal 10 minutes. Okay. So, you know what, for this, just to see, the backup plan was me actually starting on the grid, you see, so for this I'm going to go into spectate, and if I am needed I'll just start at the back of the grid. I think that's a plan. So, qualifying for 10 minutes. Apologies for any potential background noise. Here we go then, at the Watkins Glen International Short Course. Qualifying about to get underway, 10 minutes of course. No Fast 6 session brought to you by Yokohama this time around. As mentioned, on the short course we're looking at sub 1 minute lap times, so we're going to see plenty of opportunity for these drivers to set times. Probably also see them burn off quite a bit of fuel. It's nearly flat out the whole way around on this circuit in these cars. There's only one real braking point, the rest are just lifts. In some cases, like here with Dominic Kubinski, not even that. Going around the outer loop. We're going to go on board with Dominic just to see what a lap around this circuit is like. Here we go then. Entering the final corner and going on to the start-finish straight. So blind crest. You dip down and then braking around the 200-yard marker. Running wide and actually spinning out. So we're going to switch to Mateus in that case, going up the hill, using the overtake mode, of course, that they have to their advantage in qualifying. As this is an easy flat. And then through the inner loop, that's flat as well, but it takes a very precise line to get right. It's a very slight lift as well. Oh, the car gets airborne! As they clip one of the trackside objects. It was either a cone or a arrow marker. And that second to last corner, that's a very fun one to take flat out. And then this final corner, again, got to be carrying a lot of speed It's a 53.1. It's bettered by Taters. That's a 52.7. Impressive pace. Dominic, after that spin on their opening lap, currently sits in 4th. We'll see if they're able to improve their position. So Ray currently in 3rd. And of course the drivers that are here today are indeed Taters in that green Menards livery this time around. Done a nice tribute to Nukeshot Motorsport on what will be their final race of operations for a while. Although unfortunately none of the Nukeshot drivers were able to make it today, but it's still nice of Taters to run that. Mateus, interestingly, resetting to the pit, so not caring about the fuel, perhaps resetting the amount of overtake boost that they have. Dominic goes 2nd, 52.969, running very wide and spinning out again. That car not looking too stable. Burning through the tyres, and indeed they reset to the pits. That'll cause a little bit of a lag spike for some of these other drivers. So Taylor's still at the top of the timesheets, Dominic 2nd. Dominic, nice seeing them back again, of course, in that Penske livery machine. We've got Mateus here, of course. I believe also running a tribute livery to someone who's passed away recently. Although apologies, I'm not too sure who that is. I don't think he actually mentioned it on Discord, but nevertheless, thoughts are with them and their families. And Ray, of course, in the classic Evangelion livery. Goes to the top, 52.730, very impressive pace. And running wide on that exit of turn 1. Those will be enforced in the race, of course. Oh, I'm pretty sure you're not meant to be exceeding the track limits in qualifying either. Taylor's going into the pits, new tyres, has reduced that fuel weight just a bit. We're coming up to halfway through the session. As Dominic improves, Dominic goes to the top, 52.676. As Mateus improves, but not quite position, 53.167. Resetting to the pits again. I'm not too sure if this is necessarily the right idea, because you're keeping that fuel weight in the car. Dominic getting a little bit close to Taters, perhaps trying the slipstream. No, resetting to the pits. Wasn't liking how that run was shaping up. Ray recently exited the pits. Diverging strategies here then. Taylor seems to be the only one staying out and burning the fuel. You can see he's deliberately not shifting up into 5th gear there, trying to burn as much fuel as possible, saving the overtake. Although the overtake itself will burn quite a bit of fuel. We'll see how that works out for him. Gonna quickly check in on the live chat. Hello to Poptavian and John Wandering, of course. Yeah, the audio's working. Very good. Octavian asking if there's one driver that doesn't qualify. No, this is just the only qualifying session. We're not having the Fast 6 or anything like that. Matthew's here, so that pretty much guarantees that I'm going to be here in spectate mode for the rest of the day. So crisis averted, you don't have to witness my horrific driving. Mateus improves, that's a 52.656, 200s faster than what Dominic has managed to do. As that's a mistake there for Mateus. He'll be rejoining shortly. Just over a minute to go then in qualifying. Dominic at the top of the timesheets, 52.492. So it's taken a little bit of time for these drivers to adjust to having that overtake boost compared to what they were doing in practice. Mateus really turning up the boost now. Taters improves to second place. That's their final run, I believe. Yep, they're not going to have enough time to get around to do another one, and their boost is already quite low. So 52.570 is the best from Taters. What's Mateus able to do? What's Ray able to do? They'll have one more lap after this. Oh, who doesn't like the sound of anti-lag? That's fantastic. No improvement that time for Ray. Mateus, a little bit off the pace as well with that lap. And Ray resets to the pits. That's it for Ray. Not going to get another chance. Dominic running wide. Back on the overtake. Taters is going to run out of overtake, but he's still going for it. The checkered flag is now officially out. Mateus is going to be the one to cross the line first of these lot, but ran out of overtake now. Don't think it's going to be much of an improvement at all. Or rather, not be an improvement. Yep. Ran out towards the end, and there's a spin as well. Dominic hits the pit wall. Really pushing that car to its limits and going beyond. But what does Taters manage to find? Not quite enough. Of course, because I mentioned they ran out of overtake earlier. I forget things, don't I? Though if you're a regular viewer on the channel, that's no surprise to anyone. Congratulations to Dominic, taking pole position by under a tenth of a second from Taters. Mateus in third, and Ray in fourth. Everyone separated by under a quarter of a second. And Ray on an outlap here. That's just to get the timer to stop, I believe. Yep, there's the checkered flag. Octavian asking if there's 4 people racing. No, there should be 5. Because 5 is the minimum, and Matthew is now here. One of the MEM Skoda drivers, of course. He's got the times. I'm ending the race. And Edit event settings. Oh, of course, that stupid thing again. As per usual, set by host. There we go. Gonna quickly check in on Discord once again. If you're enjoying the live stream, be sure to leave a like. Consider subscribing for future content on the channel. Although this is the final race of this season here for the Capital X NES IndyCar series. It should also just be allowing Matthew a little bit of time to set his car up and such. We might also be having Zweet on his way, depending on how long that will take. About 5 minutes it says. I'm seeing 6 minutes here on Discord. Apparently traffic's a bit busy for him. Happy days, there's 2 green cars on track. Yeah, so we could be having a 6-car race this time around. Good stuff. Yeah, it has been tricky in recent times, pretty much ever since summer, because everyone's gone on holiday or whatever else, like weirdos. Oh well. Plenty of people walking around the paddock there, you see. And good fan attendance as well. We're enjoying the weather. It seems to have picked up a little bit. It was a bit cloudy in that other session. And the car's reflecting the light quite well, especially that chrome on that Skoda car. Number 71 there of Matthew. Interesting, Matthew seems to be running a slightly different gearbox to the standard. We'll see how that goes for him. Oh, running a little bit wide, finding the limits, especially on that medium tyre. That's going to be an interesting anomaly. Dominic Kubinski once again going quickly. Fan favourite, of course. Across the line. Top of the timesheets in this intermediary practice. This particular live stream is brought to you by whatever this is. I think it's a mix of coconut water and pineapple juice. It's pretty good. Official, unofficial drinks partner for today. There's no specific brand for it, it's like a mix of different things. Oh well. Mateus also moving to the medium tyres, that's interesting of note, although they are practicing sitting in the pits with them on. Interesting call. I think it's just Matthew and Dominic out on circuit at the moment. And Dominic running wide. We've seen a lot of spinning from Dominic, although to be fair they are here on relative short notice. Minimal practice. As has often been the case throughout the season, to be fair, as well. But they're making up the numbers and doing a good job of it. Oh no! Whoa! Taking out the drone camera there. Jack Wilkinson will not be happy with that. Well, that was quite something. I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, weaving to keep the tire temps up. That didn't quite go well. Getting onto the grass. Probably best not to do that. Matthew continuing to lap the circuit as well. Oh, and now Ray has joined Matthias in sitting in the pits on medium practice. Good stuff. Once again monitoring Discord. Might take a little while for Sweet to actually load up the PlayStation as well. And we should hopefully be getting this started by the o'clock. That's for me at least in the UK, 8 PM approximately. Let us know in chat when the race is for all of you out there in your various time zones, or 3 of them, or 4, because we're now up a viewer as well. Oh, there's stuff going on in the background, apologies for that. Oh, Matthew, get a little bit sideways there on turn 1 exit. Some marbles built up as well through the S's. That won't be much of an issue for these drivers. As mentioned, it is flat out through there. Car sparking out a little bit as well. That was where Dominic decided to take out the drone camera. It's a great circuit. I do enjoy it. It's in these cars, it's very fun to hot lap this short circuit, just because it's so fast. Borderline drives like an oval. Improvement there for Matthew, getting more and more up to pace. Ray skipping across the curbs in the inner loop, and that's what happens when you get it wrong. It's very fine margins through there to be able to take it flat. Dominic has left. I hope that's just temporary. Or it might not be, I'm not sure. We do have the backup plan, of course. Fan favourite shortly. I also need to get the actual qualifying order list. Wait, hold up, Dominic's here. What just happened there? Ah, okay, it was a disconnect then. That was his Wi-Fi playing up. Good to get that out of the way before the race starts, I suppose. So there is that. Okay, Okay, starting grid. We've got Dominic on pole. We've got Taylor's in second. Mateus third. Ray fourth. Matthew fifth. And then Sweet will be sixth due to joining the lobby last. If Sweet gets here, that is. Apologies for the delays, but that is the nature of league racing. Thanks to those that have managed to stick around though. And we do actually have 2 likes, so thanks for that. Okay, so Dominic wants to start on the right hand side. Yep, that's the inside. So that's a clean sweep for the inside lane throughout the season, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, Sweet is now starting up their console. So they should be here in, oh yeah, approximately 5 minutes, which is at the o'clock. That should work out okay. Another thing that I actually haven't mentioned yet is the race length. It's going to be a 200, is it mile or kilometers? I think it's probably going to be miles. Yep, 200 mile race. That's 79 laps. So double points on offer, as it's a bit longer race than normal, and of course it is the season finale, the Go Bowling 200. Due to that extra race length, it might get into evening settings a bit later on. We'll have to see. Should still be a decent amount of daylight. And it shouldn't take overly much longer than a normal race, considering how high the track speeds are. Well, that's sort of weird glitch. We did have 2 likes, it's now gone down to 1, and now it's back to 2. Something's glitching out there. It's weird. It's some of my videos as well, the amount of views keeps alternating between being higher than normal or lower than normal or whatever. It's really weird. Ah, good. Here's Sweet. We have a 6-car race. Classic Gran Turismo style. Well, Sweet will just need to get on track first. Hopefully they've got everything set up. They'll be starting in 6th place, of course. They'll join the circuit eventually. I'm sure they're just setting up various other things. After all, they did only just get back to their house, or wherever they're at. 5 viewers. Thanks again to all those that are sticking this out. We will be getting the race underway in the not too distant future. This is, of course, Round 7 of the Capital X NES IndyCar Series here at Watkins Glen International, the short circuit. There we go, Sweet is on track, and I'm gonna quickly make sure the starting grid is everything in place. Yep. Now I've got to check the formation lap things again. That's always good fun. Oh, hold up. Has something happened? Oh, right, okay. That's Taylor's giving a bit of strategy advice to a teammate. I'm not going to give that away on stream. When it ticks over to the next minute. They've hopefully got all their strategy stuff sorted. Okay, that's the next minute for me on my digital clock at least. There it is for the in-game. File, get everything up and running. Okay, we've got a little bit of time until the form-up zone, so we'll go over the grid once again. We've got Dominic Kubinski on pole position, followed very closely by very aggressively weaving Taters, trying to maintain as much temperature in the tyres as possible. We've got Mateus in third place. And we've got Ray in fourth. We've got Matthew fifth. And Sweet in sixth. So another good points opportunity for the Skoda team. Both of their cars here today. And for the Motorsport Republic X Capital team as well, considering they've got two cars. But it is Dominic Kubinski on the pole position. Odds on the right. The field is formed up. Oh, we could actually see the fuel map there changing, so Dominic going into mix 6 and then back to mix 1. So it's from when the yellow buckets start to the timing line. Yep, that's looking all legal here. We're about to go racing here for the final round of the season. It is green, 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 and the cars are off. Down to turn 1. It's a very good launch from Dominic, and Mateus looking to go down the inside at turn 1. Didn't quite work out. It looks like Ray's going to go side by side with Mateus up through the S's. It's a brave move to do. Mateus slots back in. Battle for the lead, it seems, as Taters takes it. Dominic tries to get it back, and Dominic, massive moment! Massive moment for Dominic. That car's looked so unstable. We're going to check in. Here it was. It was Taters in the slipstream on the run up the hill. Probably with a bit of overtake as well, wanting to get to the clear air at the front. There's a bit of contact, but going side by side through the inner loop is a very risky business indeed. In fact, Dominic's starting on the mediums. That'd make it even trickier. So it's Taters that leads, followed by Ray, Mateus third, Matthew fourth, Sweet fifth, and Dominic, our pole sitter, demoted down to sixth at the moment. But in the clear air, this could be somewhat advantageous. We saw at Broadbean Raceway that Costa was able to take advantage of not running in the dirty air in these new physics to preserve the tyres. And from testing, the tyre wear has been very significant here. We're looking at around 17 laps for the softs to last. And if you look at the lap count, that's not too long. We now go back to the live chat and such. Taters continue to build a bit of a lead. 2.5 seconds is the gap. Ray in second. Looks like Mateus might be closing in a little bit in the slipstream. Not close enough to do anything dangerous going to the inner loop. Tricky to follow through the outer loop here as well. So the top two are on softs, Mateus on mediums, Matthew on mediums, Sweet on softs, interestingly. As I think Dominic has actually retired from the race. I may have missed when exactly that happened. As Sweet spins out at turn 1, hitting the outside wall. Gotta try and gather that back up. Of course, Sweet only just got here. Literally no practice. Here's what happened. Just again, very similar to what we saw from Dominic in practice, just running far too over that curb. Sort of like a self-policing track limit there. We've got a little bit of dicing going off here as Mateus seems to have closed in on Ray. We're going to go on board with Mateus. Not used any of their overtake yet, interestingly. But it's softs on the car ahead versus mediums on the car we're on board with. And this could be very tricky for Ray to defend against. Mateus closing in a bit. Ray going defensive. This could compromise the line going into the inner loop. It does a little bit as they got unsettled. They did make it back onto the racing line, but that's tricky to get settled back in. As you saw the understeer from Mateus' car following this close. Ray struggling to hold on as well. That final corner seems to be where Ray makes up a lot of time thanks to the clear air. decent bit of a buffer now. A little bit sideways. And Mateus does use a little bit of overtake to keep in touch. But the gap at the front of the field continues to increase. 4.3 seconds. Oh, bit of lawn mowing there going off for rain. That's going to put dirt on the tyres. And on the tyres that you really lean on through that outer loop complex. Mateus has really closed back in again. Some great dueling going off. Gonna go rear wing cam on Ray's car. Here we see Mateus closing up a little bit. Ray trying to use the overtake to go a bit defensive. Holding that inside line, calm. They're going side by side. This could be dangerous. And Mateus wisely backs out of that one. Got to be significantly ahead to get that move to stick. And Mateus knew that would have probably ended up in a crash if they didn't back out. So well done on them for that. There will be other opportunities, I'm sure. As Ray goes defensive once again. Great dueling between these two. And there you also see Matthew in the background, not too far behind. The more that these two battle, the more Matthew will be able to catch up. Through the uphill S's. Again, Ray going defensive. Matthew, sorry, that's a little bit of contact. I meant to say Mateus, and into the wall goes Ray. And Matthew does go by, nearly reversing into his path. We're going to see this one again. I'm going to go on board here. They see Ray very much the defensive line. There's side by side going into this. There is contact. That's going to be an interesting one for the stewards to call. That's a very tricky section of circuit to have two cars go side by side through, especially when you're trying to take it flat out. And that has dropped Ray down to 4th place and somewhat released Mateus into the potential pursuit of Taters, who has really burned through those racing soft tyres, as you can see. It's mainly the outer loop where you're really leaning on them and turning them to mush, as I think there was a spin there for Ray. It was in the inner loop again, and there goes Sweet. They're side by side. Does Sweet get the pass done? Just about. Ray looks to the inside. Can't quite get that one to stick. Sweet goes slightly off the circuit. Ray back on the overtake button. Settles in for now, but Sweet goes very deep into that turn 1. And Ray with a fantastic run. But are they going to be blocked going through this S's section? No, side by side they run. This could be dangerous again. We've already seen it. Side by side. Looks like Ray is ahead. Sweet slots in. And that is Ray back up into 4th place. We're ruining that mistake. Taters continues to lead, funnily enough, at the front of the field. But this strategy with the mediums is interesting from Mateus. Can we just compare lap times here? 54.3, 54.6. So it's only a 3/10 loss. And if the mediums are able to last quite like that, then Mateus could be saving a pit stop, maybe two, depending on if they use multiple sets of mediums throughout this. That might be the potential strategy call to go for. Even with the limited cars on the circuit, we've already seen plenty of action. If you have been enjoying it, be sure to leave a like and consider subscribing for future projects on the channel. This is of course the Go Bowling 200 here on Nukeshot Media, round 7 of the Capital X NES IndyCar series. Mateus on a personal best lap, it would seem, as the fuel burns off, that car getting lighter, and the tyres able to cope quite nicely. We know Mateus is very experienced, a very good oval racer, and perhaps this particular high-speed circuit suits that kind of driving style characteristic. And not letting Taters expand the gap too much further. And Matthew, through consistency and the mistakes of others, able to get into a podium position as it stands. Oh, that was nearly cursed the commentator. Very sideways moment for Matthew through turn 1, but held on to it. We're going to get a replay of this just to see how much of a snap it was. Because during the gear change, I think, was when the snap occurred. I'm going through that outer loop. Little tap of the overtake just to get the speed back up. Well managed. And Matthew again on that medium compound. Could be looking to save a stop, similar to what Mateus could be doing. Ray has managed to get a little bit of a gap over Sweet at this stage. 2 seconds. Both of them are on the softs. I did mention that the tyres will last about 17 laps. That is in clear air as well. We saw at Broadbean Raceway, if you're in dirty air, the tyre wear is amplified significantly. And that could be what's happened to Sweet, following in the tracks of Ray. As we see our first pit stop of the race, that is for race leader Taters. And that has allowed Mateus to take the lead and should be good to go for quite some time. Taters rejoins the race. They'll be back in 3rd place. They're on the mediums now, getting that stint done, perhaps just going mediums all the way to the end. They'll definitely need at least one more stop if they do continue on the mediums, even from here. And definitely on fuel, actually. They've not taken any fuel. Is that a particularly good call? Because Mateus, I think, might be able to last the entire fuel stint on these tyres. Intriguing stuff. Matthew pretty much by himself at this stage. As I readjust my seating position here in the Nukeshot Broadcast Centre. Very professional stuff, well done me. Through the inner loop and the outer loop. And have another sip of my drink, unofficially. The beverage of the Nukeshot Broadcast Centre for today. Coconut water mixed with pineapple juice thing. Good stuff. Green flag being waved there. I'm not 100% sure why. Did one of the cars make a mistake? Hold on, someone's about to be lapped. Oh, I see. So Sweet has made a pit stop. That's what's happened there. It doesn't come up with the indicator saying there was a pit stop, but indeed there was. You can tell by the fresh tyres and the fact that they're mediums now. So sort of converging on that medium strategy. I like these kinds of different strategies in racing. I quite like what they did in terms of the tyres for this particular physics update regarding that. Before, with how this series was, it was pretty much a single strategy, but you could overcut or undercut one stop sort of a deal. With this, there's a little bit more variance. Be interesting to see what happens for the potential next season of this. It's not been confirmed as far as I know if there will be another season of this. I know there is eventually going to be a Capital GT Championship again, but I think the plan is for some more postponement, mainly from the sake of the organisers' well-being and such. It's difficult running a league. I can tell you that much from experience. Sweet, right on the limits there. And very close to that outside wall at the final corner. Was a very well executed final sector there from Sweet. Used quite a chunk of their overtake early on in the race then. They're nearly at halfway. Now Mateus' front left tyre is starting to feel the burn. Ray has managed to stretch that set of softs really far. Lap 21. That is impressive stuff. I was only able to get 17.5 laps out of softs in practice. So, getting to lap 21, that's impressive stuff. Going on to the mediums now. Where does Ray rejoin? Is Sweet gonna overtake them? Sweet's gonna have a little bit more speed, but we saw Ray on the overtake, trying to get the acceleration back up. Sweet in the slipstream. Sweet had that undercut and the tyres are up to temperature. Ray goes defensive. Sweet has to slot back in, but Ray compromised their line. Is Sweet gonna do a bit of a switch back here? Ray is very desperately trying to defend as they get the tyres up to temperature. Oh, looking to the inside, can't quite find the gap. Sweet runs out of the track limits. That is the track limit hot zone, by the way, turn 1, so that is going to be monitored. Here we see Sweet with the run. On the outside, does anyone back out? Sweet does back out. Smart driving there. We've already seen at least one incident through a driver not backing out. Gotta have a lot of overlaps and essentially just be ahead before in the loop itself. Checking in on second and third, it looks like Taters is closing in on Matthew. Matthew, of course, yet to stop, but using the overtake mode just to keep Taters at arm's reach, keep them out of the slipstream. Well, both of them seem to lose it a little bit over the curbs. But yet, keeping that gap around 1 second. I think Taters could be on the overtake. Yep, I saw the gap coming down there on the straight. Into slipstream range now, but also into dirty air range. That's going to be tricky. But Matthew, unable to carry the kind of speed that they were earlier through the outer loop. And Taters very much closing up now. They've gone purple through that second sector. And I think this could be where the overtake is done. Matthew doesn't try to fight it that much. Didn't see them move to the inside like we've seen with Ray. So Matthew looking to perhaps get a re-overtake here. Perhaps that was the strategy, trying to get it done. Going to the inner loop this time around. No, not quite. Just settling into the strategy. Able to continue to go long. So that is Taters back up into second place, but of course they were leading, and they've got about 8 seconds to catch Mateus, whose last lap was a 54.897 compared to a 54.302 for Taters. That's around a, what, 5/10 difference between them? And that's Mateus on very much worn mediums. How much longer will Mateus stay on those tyres, I wonder? Looking at where we are in terms of the lap counter as well, we're past 1/4. I think we're about 1/3 into this. Could we see potentially medium, soft, medium as the call, or medium, medium, soft? Or soft, medium, medium. I think it could be a 2-stop. Depends if the fuel will stretch as well, and how far they're able to stretch these tyres. So far, 27 laps on these mediums, and they're still holding up reasonably well. Certainly in terms of lap time, it's just going to be more and more difficult to cope with the understeer through sections like this. You can see Mateus really having a hold on. And in fact, they might be closing in on cars ahead. They also saw Taters in the background of camera shot. But yeah, we've got Ray and Sweet not too far up the road from the leaders. They've both already made pit stops, of course. As has Taters. So it's just Mateus and Matthew yet to make that first pit stop. Going through the inner loop again, and then the outer. There's a fantastic corner. Exactly half of the overtake left for Taters at this stage, and pretty much all of it for Mateus still. Used it a little bit there. We might use it a smidge more in order to get past some of this lap traffic. There are blue flags being waved by the marshals. And at these road course circuits, as opposed to ovals, it is more so an encouragement to get out of the way than it is normally just to try not to hold anyone up. Is Mateus actually going to be able to catch these guys before they go into the pits? The gap's come down, it's 4.9, I think it was around 8 before, between first and second. Smidge of overtake use there. And only 6 tenths down on their personal best that time around. Yellow flags, that's Ray, has gone round, oh wow, scary moment there. Mateus managed to find the gap. That is Ray and Taylor's. Not going to make that particularly difficult. We're going to see what happened to Ray this time around. Is it the same that we've seen from many others? Yep, that curb. That curb and trying to catch it. Trying to catch it back. There is reversed out of the way. There goes... I think that was... Who was that? Was that Matthew? That first car, the green one? No, it couldn't have been. That must have been Taylor's then. Oh, it may have been Sweet. I don't know, I'm getting 5 cars mixed up somehow. So that's promoted Sweet back to 4th place. As I think there may have been another slight mistake from Ray. Indeed, it must have been that curb again. That curb has been the death of so many people, it seems. Well, not quite death, but you know what I mean. Lap 32, Mateus goes on to our race leader. 2.7 the gap. Really struggling now. What they might do is, as soon as Taylor's goes past, might be when Mateus decides to pit. Could be a good opportunity to hold up Taylor's as much as possible. And once you're no longer able to hold them up, then go into the pit. Of course, holding them up legally. None of that illegal blocking type of stuff allowed, of course. Or does Mateus go into the pits now? Well, yes. Okay, I was looking at the pit line, and I wasn't quite sure. But into the pits goes the number 25 KFC Chevrolet of North Star Racing. I've somehow remembered that without looking at my notes. Well done, me. Now, Mateus will rejoin in very clear air. So it seems that Matthew has a bit of a fan club here joining the lobby mid-race. So I'm just gonna... What on earth's going on here? I'm gonna have to deal with this. Hold up. Is that a thing? Is that a personal thing, or like everyone? Does that apply to? I don't know. They can stay as long as they don't type. One more type and everyone gets kicked. Meanwhile, as all that happens, Sweet has gone back into the pits. Was Sweet on mediums? Oh. It was a short stint on mediums, if that was the case. Not sure if these softs are quite the way to go, but they've rejoined in 5th place. Mateus rejoined in 3rd not too long ago. Our race leader is Taters. Matthew in 2nd place as it stands. I think that would be a personal best of the season for Matthew. Mateus in 3rd. Ray in 4th. Walking through that medium stint, and Sweet in 5th. Sorry for typing. The irony with that. I think that's all of them gone anyway now. I don't know. That was an interesting intermission. Was that 5/10 purple there? Sweet is going for the fastest lap point here, I think. Look at that, 52.8 in the race. Fair play. Sweet with that minimal practice in the 7-Up Honda or MEM Skoda Racing. That is some very impressive pace. I would have done quite well in qualifying, I seem to recall correctly. Will they be able to catch up to the cars ahead? We'll have to see. Oh, why did I say that? Skimming off the barrier. And there is a car behind. Sweet weaving, trying to get the new tyres up to temperature. Trust me, it won't take that long, and you'd want to be cooling them down, if anything, in not too long. There's our race leader on the mediums. Definitely going longer on this stint than we've seen from Sweet. Mateus in 2nd. So Mateus actually went on to the mediums again. So Mateus could be looking to go one more stop and be on the softs. It could be a bit of a stretch for the softs. We'll have to see. It's probably done the maths. If you're enjoying the race, be sure to leave a like. Consider subscribing for future projects on the channel, etc., etc. The speeds of these cars never cease to amaze me. They're fantastic to drive. If you've never driven a Super Formula car in Gran Turismo before, I would definitely recommend it. Great stuff. $1 million credits each if you want to have a test drive for free. I believe one of the license tests in-game uses them. is just the amount of grip you have is insane. Only thing I do wish is if you could just trim the wings out a little bit more. Be very good for the oval portions of the calendar, of course. But of course, Super Formula doesn't go to any oval circuits. It would be amazing if they brought back the Motegi Oval or something, and they ran Super Formula there. It's like the Japanese version of like the Indy 500 or something. Make it a very big deal kind of event. I think that would be a fantastic thing to exist if it ever did. Unfortunately, we live in the sad reality where it doesn't exist. But I do still hold out hope that the Twin Motegi Oval will be repaired one day, or Mobility Resort Motegi, as it is known now, of course. "30 seconds is the gap between first and second. But of course, Mateus does seem to have at least one pit stop in hand. All depends if Taters goes for another medium stint after this. Although Taters did pit quite early on the soft stint, which is surprising if we contrast that to what Ray managed to do. Ray managed to really stretch the tyres. There we see Sweet a lap down. Still, of course, gathering those crucial points for MEM Skoda Racing. They just clipped that barrier. Good thing we don't have mechanical damage on in cases like that, but yep. Again, that curb. They really want to carry as much speed as possible going up this hill, but is it worth the risk? We've seen the amount of curb spinning. Oh, okay. This is the fuel coming back to bite Taters. I did think that the tyres would last less than or rather last longer than the fuel, and that seems to have been the case. Taters fueling up nearly all the way. Is that enough fuel to get to the end? Is that what it's done? Must have done, surely. Otherwise he would have fueled up all the way. That's a very specific amount. Okay, he rejoins, and he's rejoining behind Mateus, yet under a second though. I'm trying to get back up to speed with the overtake mode. Won't be able to get close enough for a move into the inner loop, so we're going to have to wait this one out, but back up to speed. And now, with the target acquired up ahead, and Taters has gone on to another set of mediums. So looking to go to the end from here. How many laps did we see from Mateus on the first stint? I think it was around 32 laps. And we've got about 36 to go. I don't know if Taters is going to be able to take these tyres to the end, but he's trying to move around the inside, or down the inside rather, backed out of it. Smart decision again. Turns into a game of chicken, that chicane. There's a cone on the circuit, someone bring out the safety car. Debris on circuit. Let's have a stage caution while we're at it. No, of course not. It's been a long season. in terms of the amount of miles covered. Just looking at the mileage on some of these chassis, getting to the nearly 3,000 range on Mateus' car, still over 2,000 on Tater's. He still has to follow behind for now. Again, 2,300 there for Matthew. Ray a little bit less, 1,700, and Sweet 1,100, but everyone over 1,000 miles in these cars, on these chassis. They've been racking them up throughout the season. And I'm sure it's all gone down to plenty of experience that could be useful in the future. Some of the skill sets here that you develop with these high downforce off-road cars can be also transferred to the likes of LMP machinery and other high downforce cars. Just getting the feel for that kind of immense downforce. It's certainly not a bad skill to have. Whoa, that was Tater's getting very close to the outside wall. I don't know if he clipped it. Can we get a replay of that? Here we are on board. Let's see just how close he got. I don't think he touched it. Close call. But preserving momentum. The annoying thing for Tater's will be that Mateus has got a decent chunk more of the overtake left. Not over a quarter. Now coming up to a smidge of traffic. I see Matthew pushed by himself, everyone else is on the other part of the circuit. Oh, I thought that might have been an arrow going slightly the other direction. It was Ray going into the pits. Okay, this is a little bit early. What's going on here? They're not working on the car. Something's happened here. Or rather is not happening. Has Ray retired? They were ahead of Sweet. That's what I don't get in this. They were ahead of Sweet. Something's gone off. There's tyres there. Maybe some kind of technical issue's gone off. I'm not too sure. Hello to Tomsoft in the chat. I was having you along. Do I sound tired? Maybe a little bit. I'm sort of pacing myself, so to speak. It's a long race with a slightly smaller grid count than normal. Gotta take your time with this. Proper endurance style. It's 200 miles this one. Here is the Go Bowling 200 at Watkins Glen on the short circuit. You're watching live on Nukeshot Media, round 7 and the season finale of the Capital X NES IndyCar series. If you are enjoying, be sure to leave a like, consider subscribing for future projects on the channel, not the rest of the season, because this is the final race of the season. Sweet goes into the pits. And now the thing with Sweet is because of Ray either having a technical malfunction or seemingly retiring from the race but staying in the pits and not exiting the lobby entirely, Sweet's got nothing to worry about in terms of strategy now. I don't think they were going to improve on 4th place after the early mistakes, and even then, it's going to be a tough ask considering how they joined quite late on with the minimal practice. I'm still really impressed that they managed to find a way to snag that fastest lap. And that extra point there, so that's 52.831, as you can see on the middle left of your screen. Back to the battle for the lead. Looks like a good run for Taters this time around. We're going to go on board. Using the overtake, Mateus goes defensive. I think there was a slight bump there. Just slightly misjudging. And Taters does back out again. Mateus will have liked that one because it allowed Taters to burn some of that precious overtake. Mateus burned much in defence. I think it might have done a bit, but that front left tyre again, that's the one that takes so much of the punishment here. It's becoming a limiting factor. A little bit shaky. Meanwhile, seems that Ray is still stuck in the pits. Taters runs wide, probably the dirty air causing that. Wind speed's quite low. Only 1.5 meters a second as Taters runs wide once again. And into the wall that time. That was almost certainly wall contact. And Mateus able to break the slipstream range with that particular move, but a massive slide going out of that first corner. Taters does close back up again. Check in on Matthew. Been running at a steady but consistent pace. And Sweet as well. Looks set for a 4th, bar any issues to the cars ahead, which could still happen, of course. Mateus does go on the overtake, trying to be defensive. Does Taters set something up this time? Going rear wing cam on the number 25 car of North Star Racing. Through the outer loop now. You see the camber. You really have to pitch the car in through there to get it to stick. Still, even with the worn tyres, flat out through that second to last corner. The last corner as well, really close to that outside wall. Impressive driving here from Mateus on that worn front left tyre. Still able to keep Taters back. We're on lap 55 of 79, so we're approaching the final quarter of this one. I believe it's one more pit stop for everyone. Although Taters could be cutting it close to getting to the end from here. We're not too sure. I haven't really seen a long stint from Taters on the mediums yet. Oh, there's been a spin somewhere in the field. Is that 4th place? It is indeed, it's sweet. No real consequence to this due to being pretty much by himself, but we're going to check in just to see what happened here. In a loop. It was the grass combined with a little bit much curb. Thankfully they were by themselves and didn't collect anyone else. Safe to rejoin right away. Matthew negotiating that same part of the circuit. And the leaders back at it again. Taylor's really conserving that last little chunk of overtake for the final stages of this. Never mind, they're using it right now. Mateus doesn't go defensive, perhaps knows that Taters is a bit far back to be making a challenge there. Oh, what a run that was! And that is Taters taking the lead from Mateus. Does Mateus have a response going towards the first corner on the straight? It doesn't quite look like it. We're going to see this one again. Here it was. So losing a little bit of time through the inner loop, but it was the outer loop. Mateus on the marbles, running wide, lost a lot of time, had to lift off, and that set up the overtake very nicely for Taters, getting that move done on the inside on exit. Now very much released into the clear air and able to extend the gap already up to a second. Oh, hello to Myth in the chat. Nice having you along here. Indeed, Mateus is battling for the lead of this one. I believe it's still got one more stop to do. We're not too sure whether Taters can get to the end from here or not. It's definitely going to be a struggle. Mateus has really stretched the medium this time around. Still got to do a stint on the softs. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's gone medium then medium so far. So he's going to have to stretch the softs around the same amount that Ray managed, which is, what, around 20 laps? I think Ray managed 22 or so. It's pit stop there from the very colour coordinated North Star Racing crew. Slightly different race suit there for Mateus this time. And indeed, onto the softs. Will they be able to last the 20 laps? They're certainly going to be dead by the end of the 20 laps. Be an interesting comparison of the tyre saving skills though of Mateus and Ray. Now of course Mateus will be able to set slightly faster laps compared to Taters. As Taters actually got past Sweet not too long ago. Was that just on that back straight? Looks like Sweet may have just slowed down and got out of the way. Yep, pulled over to one side. Nice sportsmanship there. If Sweet was in a battle, it would have been fair for him to have not necessarily just pulled over to the side of the road, but he's got nothing to worry about really, so just getting out of the way. Again, heads up, smart driving. Oh, Sweet! Oh, curse the commentator again. Getting it wrong back into the final corner. Oh dear, let's see this. I find it funny that to switch to this particular camera view, it's key L on the keyboard. Oh, it was turning in too early. Oh, we've not seen that before. Turning in too early, losing it on the grass on the inside. Well, that'll make the car even more green. Well, that's not what they ideally want. Oh dear, scary moment there, getting it crossed up, and then running wide on the outer loop, and getting reset because of the track limits. Now, will that put the fuel calculations out? It won't be that much, but it'd be a rather amusing thought. Sweet continuing though. Just gotta find that rhythm again. Get the grass and the dirt and the dust off of the tyres. Meanwhile, Matthew, personal best in that sector on quite worn mediums. And that is a personal best lap for Matthew. That is a 54.491 if the lap tracker on that right hand side of the screen is to be believed. And still, Ray just sitting in the pits. I'm not sure if this is gonna count as a DNF or not. We've seen in some other series that drivers do this waiting in the pits thing and then leave the pits to finish the final couple laps or so in order to be classified. I'm not sure if there's a 75% distance rule, but I mean, it's up to the stewards of course, but from my perspective that's a retired car. Whether it's through circumstances out of the driver's control or whatever, I don't know. But that car's been sat there for, what, over 20 minutes? Possibly longer? Oh, there's Spooky's in the chat. Hi, Spooky. Welcome to Nukeshot Media for the final race of the what's this series called again? Capital X NES IndyCar series. That's the one. I've got it on my notes, believe it or not. Here at Watkins Glen International, the short course. We're into the closing stages of this one, and it has been, for such a small field, quite the interesting race. Top tier commentator, thanks for that. Oh dear. It's been a long one, but we've been getting through it as we see Sweet running off the track again. Thankfully that's not a spot that's actually monitored by the track limits apparently. In the race description anyway. It's only turn 1 here, but there we see it again. Sweet with the blue flag notification. So he's got nothing really to worry about in terms of cars behind or ahead. Oh, but nearly ran into the back of Mateus. That would have been scary. So just like pulling up to the side, that's fair play, good sportsmanship. And you know what? Even though it looks like Sweet is going to finish last of the finishers, I always like to give credit to drivers that are driving smart out there, doing these kinds of things, even if they aren't towards the front, battling for podium positions or whatever. It's just good to see sportsmanship still existing in these tragic times. I don't know where I'm going with that tangent. Oh, you've got a Le Mans 24 stint at 6 AM. Oh joy. Well, I'm wishing you all the best with that. Exciting times. "22 seconds is the gap at the front of the field. Mateus yet to have used the softs before this stint, and I think they're going to really be struggling. They had 20 laps to do on this stint. They're coming up to the completion of lap 8 on these tyres, I believe. And although the tyre wear, if it's linear, it would look, you know, like the tyres would last, but it's not linear. It keeps getting more amplified the more worn it gets. It sort of speeds up the process. So that's going to be tricky. Matthew, meanwhile, into the pits, exiting the pits. Okay. Oh, your team's leading the split. That's great to hear. No pressure. Onto the softs then goes Matthew. I think this is reasonable. Yeah, this is definitely doable for Matthew here on the softs. I think Matthew's pulled this sensibly on the strategy. But then again, whenever I say that, it normally means it's the complete wrong call, and I don't know. Oh dear. 21 seconds. What were the lap times last time around? 54.8 compared to a 54.3. Both of these drivers are going to try to get to the end. They've got around the same amount of fuel. If anything, Mateus has got a little bit less. Might be because they've had a bit more overtake to burn. A bit shaky through turn 1, but gathered it up there from Taters. $54.2 last time around there compared to a 54.4. That gap's not going to close from tyre advantage alone. It's going to have to be a case of Mateus hoping that Taters has to make another stop and that he won't have to make another stop himself. Remember, before the actual pit stop started happening, Taters already had quite a significant gap. So trying to overcome that on strategy is going to be really tricky. Not entirely impossible, but it's all comes down to what the leader does. Got about 8 laps or so to go in the race. You know, I'd almost be tempted to put on a set of softs here from Taters. That's perhaps a really dumb call, but I don't know. I think if you are going to have to pit again, then you want to have enough time to actually re-challenge for the lead, because Taters is going to drop back into second if he does pit now. But if Mateus is going to be struggling himself, then you've got to think you want to maximise the advantage. me thinking Mateus gonna win. He's trusting the process. We shall see. There was a 53 last time around there for Mateus. Used a chunk of the overtake. 53.489. And actually it seems that, I'm not sure when this happened. Oh, it was last time around. I managed to catch that not too long ago then. New fastest lap of the race is Matthew Wrightson. 52.724. It was Sweet that had it before, I seem to recall, so the two Skoda drivers not only going to be taking a lot of points here today in terms of the team's championship, but also the fastest lap if this keeps up. It'll depend on what these top two end up doing in their final stints. If they are going to end up stretching to the very end of the race, then they're not going to have the chance to retake the fastest lap. If they do go into the pits, then there's a decent chance that they are going to get that accolade. And we're at the point where Mateus softs are actually more worn than Taylor's mediums. So that crossover happened, and Mateus surely has just got to pit. Surely. It's going to get to a point of being extremely undrivable. I guess there's no harm if you're not coming under attack from Matthew. Then I guess the only thing you can do is stay out. But yeah, I really don't see, on strategy at least, how this is going to work out for Mateus. I think Taylor has pretty much got this. I think Taylor's also going to have to back off the pace a little bit to save the tyres. Can afford to do so. Is that someone rejoining out the pits? Yes, it was. Is that Sweet? So Sweet has just exited the pits. In close proximity to their teammate. So they went from mediums onto a set of softs. Oh, okay, so the Skoda drivers are going to keep battling for the fastest lap of the race here, I think is what's going on. That's always good fun to see. They're together on circuit. Hold up, Ray's back on track. Just noticed that. Got into the wall there, but this is what I was talking about. Does this count as a DNF? Because they are back running again, but they weren't moving for a very significant part of the race, and restarting again this close to the end is a bit suspicious. That's going to be one for the stewards to deliberate over, perhaps. Either way, it changed from, like, it cost Ray a position doing that, because Ray was 4th. Taylor's with 2 and a bit laps to go. Still a smidge of the overtake left, but I don't think he's going to be using it because the fuel's looking a little bit critical. More so for Mateus, actually. He's got a bit further to go. Look how worn that front left tyre is, and when it gets completely red, as we saw at Broadbean Raceway, it is borderline impossible to turn the car. It turns it into an ocean liner, as Southpaw Racer would say. And look, you even see the heat on that tyre, on the actual graphic there in the bottom left of the screen, actually going red from the amount of leaning that you're doing on that. It's about to go fully red. Mateus, I think you're continuing to lose further time here. In fact, there is Ray about to make an overtake. In fact, Ray's actually took the fastest lap of the race from all of this. So that's another point of potential contention. Is the car that stopped for all that time, that may have been classed as a DNF during that time, has now taken the fastest lap point potentially. And I think that is about to go fully red. There's a slight pixel still left, and there it goes. Mateus is using the overtake, so clearly thinks there's enough fuel to get this final lap in. But has lost so much time. It was 20 seconds, it's now 33. Well, it was worth a shot. But in the end, it wasn't quite enough to overcome the advantage. One corner to go. And Taters is about to cross the line to take the win here of the Go Bowling 200. Congratulations to Taters. That is the race win for the number 98 Menards Honda of Motorsport Republic X Capital. Mateus is going to come home a valiant and fighting second place. Matthew and Zui have crossed the line as well. Ray is about to. And Mateus rounding that final corner on the completely worn front left tyre. Across the line. And that concludes the race, up one position from the start. Gonna save the replay so I can get a thumbnail in a bit. Here are your final results then. Of course, it was Taters taking the win by 37 seconds in the end over Mateus. Matthew completing the podium with MEM Skoda Racing. Their teammate Zui has to settle for 4th place. Was looking quite good in the fastest lap battle there, but in the end that went to Ray in 5th with a 52.387. We'll have to see post-race whether that position and points and various things will stand, but we'll see. But look, 27 laps down off the leader. And Dominic Kubinski, very unfortunate early retirement. That car looked really unstable through certain sections of the circuit, mainly the curbs. So that may have been something to do with the setup on that car not agreeing with the recent physics change. That's just theory. Driving theory, thanks for watching, I don't know. Thanks to everyone that stuck out for this live stream, hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for sticking around for the season, to be fair, as we see Taters doing some celebratory donuts. There may have actually been Taters winning a championship, actually. I'm not too sure. League standings, I'm going to quickly check. He was in the championship contention for this. The gap was 28, and championship leader Joe 2 Guy didn't show up, so I do believe that is Taters taking the championship. So congratulations to Taters. And checking the team's championship, that gap was 45, and I believe if it's 50 points for a win, then that means regardless of if Ray's position stands, that Team Taters does secure the team's championship as well. And indeed that is the case, 50 points for a win. So that is the championship for both Taters and Motorsport Republic X Capital, the team that Taters drives for. Did I say Team Taters earlier? That was a throwback to CGTC. Well, great stuff. Thanks for sticking it out here on the channel, and for those that watched the entire season, there will eventually be a playlist on the channel containing the whole season. If you haven't seen the rest of the season, be sure to do so. It was fantastic. We saw plenty of well, a lot more cars towards the start of the season rather. Don't know what the word "start" is. I don't know. My own vocabulary. What should end up being an actual word or something. Yeah, we've seen Matthew doing some donuts as well. But yeah, we saw plenty of action throughout this season. I really have enjoyed it, and hope potentially to see it return one day. If you have enjoyed this season, there is a link to the Discord server in the description, so be sure to check that out as well, and like and subscribe if you have enjoyed today's action and want to be notified of future projects on the channel. From all of us here at Nukeshot Media, well, me mainly, it is just me here. I've been Zokio. We hope you've enjoyed the season, and from all of us, it's goodbye.